Hello and welcome to another morning briefing presented by Stein Investments. Today there is a lot to speak about and I'm happy to create another content video for you. And I'd like to start with the wonderful Japanese volume trend we've seen during today's Asian session, making our Asian customers extremely happy because they had a wonderful streamlined trend across almost all the Japanese yen pairs. You can see there was a rising interest in yen short positions, which was also confirmed by the clearly weak Japanese yen, as you can see here in the FX Power analysis. And if we switch to the corresponding charts, then you see that was an amazing streamline move here to the upside, which stopped at around 6 here. And if we go back to the volume overview, you can see that at around 6 here, you can see that the interest in yen short positions declined massively, even going to the opposite side. So this marked the end of this volume trend, but until then, our customers had benefited a lot of this move. This is euro against the yen. An amazing move, no drawdown at all. And all trends here in line on the extreme weak side. So that's how trading should be every day. Unfortunately, it's not, but at least you have the right tools to catch these moves. And I'm happy for all those who did. So let's move on to what we can see right now, and we can see there is a rising interest in euro long positions and a rising interest in new trading positions in general compared to the last days. And the euro gained some serious strength during the past 24 hours. Yesterday the long term was still on the weak side, you might remember from yesterday's video briefing, and today it finally switched to the positive side and seems to stabilize itself. This started with this spike upwards here at the New York session, which I didn't notice because I already quit my trading activities for the day prior to this event. And you can see it's currently ranging, but other euro pairs are still on the go here. The euro against the Canadian, then I've seen the euro against the New Zealand dollar was a great opportunity here, which is currently dealing with some resistance levels, but the strength in the euro is obvious and it's fueled by a rising interest in euro long positions. So it's good possible that this trend will last for a while, but today we have to care about a special news event I will talk about in a second. Today we are facing the core CPI publication of the US, and if you click on this little button here, you get some details about the past events, how the forecast was and how the actual numbers have been. And here you can see what's the usual effect. This event is critical because it has an immediate impact on the future money policy in the US. If the inflation is higher than expected here in the forecast, the market expects that the Fed will at least keep the interest rate stable or even rise it. That's why the US dollar becomes strong if the inflation rises. If the inflation is weaker than expected, then the US dollar usually drops because the probability for rate cuts is higher than with rising interest rates. And so this event impacts the market a lot, and there are two of them that are correlated. It's the first one here is the core CPI, which is the customer price index, and the second one here is the core PPI, which is the producer price index, and depending on which event appears first every month, this event has the most impact to the Forex market. So please be aware of that and keep in mind that this afternoon we have to expect higher volatility than usual depending on the numbers that are published. If you want to check the history and the impact on the US dollar pairs, I can only recommend to check these dates, especially when the published numbers differ from the forecast, and then you get an idea what to expect this afternoon. Considering the relevance of this news event, I can only recommend being cautious and don't risk anything up front. It's not worth it. Just await until this news event has passed, the dust has settled, and then you'll still have plenty of opportunities to make money in the market. So let's have a look what our currency overview provides, and we can see the euro is clearly on the strong side of the scale. The British pound is going in the same direction. It's currently a bit weak in the short-term analysis, but the direction mid and long-term is clear. So once more, you see the correlation between those two. The US dollar is neutral, not surprising, considering the news event we are facing in around 4 hours. Canadian dollar is split and moving to the neutral level currently. So yeah, I don't expect any bigger move here as well due to the correlation to the US dollar. The Swiss franc is pretty strong after yesterday's weakness, but it's clearly split. You can see long term it's still a weak trend, and the dynamic to the upside is just short term. The Japanese yen is clearly weak here, but it's currently doing some zigzag moves after its streamlined trend overnight we've seen before. The Aussie dollar is also undecided, and the New Zealand dollar is the perfect counterpart to the British pound and the euro, and probably the yen could be considered as good counterpart for those two at a later stage as well. But we'll see that if we check the pairs in detail. So the situation on Euro NZD is pretty clear. It's one streamlined move here to the upside. Problem is we are too late for this to enter. The ATR reached already 109%, and the last good area for a stop loss would be down here. So the risk to the downside is a lot bigger than the potential to the upside, and so I recommend to leave this one until you'll see a reversal, which will come sooner or later, there's no doubt about it, and take this move in the second run. British pound against the New Zealand dollar is pretty similar, and the British pound is a bit weaker than the euro, which is why it offers a bit more potential. You can see it's still dealing with this resistance level, but due to this news event the situation is pretty much the same. Just be patient and wait until the dust has settled. Let's move on to euro against the Japanese yen. The major move already happened during today's Asian session. We have here 180% ATR already reached, and the trend situation is clear, and I can only recommend everyone to wait for a reversal and take these trades in the second run. Here you can see that the British pound is already dropped below this mini last low, so it's likely that it will go down further before it continues the move to the upside. Let's move on with the recap of yesterday's trade, buying the Aussie dollar against the Swiss franc, which provided some decent profits, a minimal risk here to the downside, and a nice profit taken here at the end of the London session, as I usually do. And it's most probably not super exciting to take only 1 or 2 trades a day, but it's important to make things right. You have to choose the right pair, you have to set a proper stop loss, and you have to set a reasonable profit target. And if this isn't been reached at the end of the day, just close your trade and you are fine. In my opinion, consistency is king, and I'm happy about the profits I gain almost daily, not every day, but it's always a profit at the end of the week. And so I'm happy, and that's what counts. This is the second trade I took yesterday. It's based on our easy scalping with IX Power strategy, also published on our Stein Investments page. You'll find it here, and you'll get a detailed explanation for every step, trade examples, and chart templates. So for all those who like to trade non-Forex symbols, IX Power is the ideal solution, and with this easy scalping approach, I'm pretty sure you'll have fun on the non-Forex symbols as well. We set the stop here below the support level. You've seen it in yesterday's morning briefing video, and we closed the trade at the end of the German trading session. The rest is after our pricing, which I don't care about. So I'm happy with the profit, and we'll see when the next opportunity on a non-Forex symbol appears. Let's move on with our non-Forex analysis, starting with the Bitcoin against the US dollar as usual. And we can see the Bitcoin is in a pretty clear downtrend situation with some light buy dynamic, and there is a massive support cluster, so it probably won't fall down that area, but we can currently see no dynamic to the upside, so I would avoid trading it right now. Gold is currently facing some serious sell dynamic. We see a weakening long-term trend, which is currently in the neutral area of the scale, and very extreme short and mid-term values. So if you want to give it a go, a reasonable profit target would be in this area around the 80% ATR, but you need to place a stop loss at around this level. So this all in all makes it a negative risk reward ratio. So I would drop this opportunity and move on to another symbol. The Dow Jones is neutral, and there is no real dynamic inside, probably also due to the news event that's coming up, so we can finish that quickly. And the situation on the German DAX is pretty much the same. There is only 25% ATR right now, which means the market moved almost not at all today, and I'm pretty sure the German DAX traders are awaiting the US CPI news as well, and then we'll see what happens afterwards. That's it. We are already at the end of our morning briefing, and I hope it was helpful, and I'm looking forward to catch you in the next one. See you and bye bye.